This podcast is brought to you by Healthy Mama Meal Prep, my one-of-a-kind course that teaches you how to meal prep in a way that fits your unique family. From a former personal chef and a busy mama who knows that just like there is no one-size-fits-all nutrition plan, there's no one-size-fits-all meal prep plan. I'll teach you exactly how to meal prep with efficiency and less stress so you can feel at ease your whole week, including when you prep. In this self-paced course, you'll learn the 3 types of prep and how to go about each one, plus a bonus on freezer prep, how to plan without stress, and how to plan your prep for ease, how to get through the grocery store faster, how to prep in the right order for efficiency in the kitchen, what to do if you only have a short amount of time to prep, and kitchen basics, how to be a more efficient cook in the kitchen through developing basic cooking skills that will carry you through meal prep and beyond. So who is this course for? This course is for you if you have tried planning or prep and it just hasn't worked for you in the past. If you are having a hard time getting dinner on the table without calling for takeout or eating frozen pizza, again, even if you're meal planning. If you want to eat well but you feel like you don't have the time or you only eat well when you're dieting, we are not about quick fixes over here, but we are about solutions. If you want to learn how to prep in a way that's efficient and you need some new kitchen skills and some new recipes to mix it up stat, head to healthymamakris.com/meal prep to learn more. Welcome to Healthy Mama Hacks, a weekly mini podcast where I share my best tips for hacking your healthy mama life with simple tips for easier eating, cooking, and living a healthy mama life in 20 minutes or less. Let's do this, mama. Hey friends, welcome back to Healthy Mama Hacks. Today we are going to talk about hacking a satisfying smoothie. And honestly, it couldn't be a more ironic day to talk to you guys about a delicious and refreshing smoothie when it is cold and dark and rainy out today. But you know what? We are going to pretend that it is warm and sunny and beautiful outside, and we are going to sip a delicious smoothie together after we listen to this episode. I love talking about smoothies. If you are new to the community here, then you might not know this, but if you are not new, you know that I have been talking about smoothies for like a decade now because I am all about satisfaction, simplifying healthy living, and making it delicious. And a smoothie is such a great way to do that. Now, I don't think that smoothies are the be-all, end-all. You have to drink smoothies or green smoothies or any type of smoothies in order to live a healthy life. But I do think that they are a really awesome breakfast option, especially for busy moms. And they're actually my go-to breakfast. And there's a few reasons for this. Number one, they are easy and they are quick, okay? Especially if you have all of your ingredients close by, you gather your ingredients before you go ahead and make it. A smoothie takes anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. I don't think you can consider a faster breakfast. Like, it takes longer to go through the drive-thru, honestly, to make a smoothie. They're so easy, they're so quick. They're also really portable. And when you're a busy mom, if you have to do school drop-off or you have to go to work and typically you don't have time to nourish your body, you guys know I talk a lot about how important it is that we are honoring our hunger and staying satisfied throughout the day because this prevents us from overeating later on and not making choices that serve us, just making sure that we are making time to use food as a form of self-care. A smoothie is a great way to have a portable meal on the go. They're also an easy way to get in a ton of nutrients first thing in the morning. There's no denying that a green smoothie is a really healthy breakfast. Now, if you turn your smoothie into a milkshake with like 4 cups of fruit, then okay, fruit's good for you, but that's a lot of sugar. We don't need to be filling up our smoothies with 2 cups of orange juice and 4 bananas. But other than, turning it into a sugar bomb, it's a great way to throw in a bunch of greens. Sometimes they'll use frozen cauliflower or frozen zucchini, some delicious nutrient-dense fruit. You've got some protein and fat to balance your blood sugar. When you make a smoothie in a way that is going to be not just satisfying for your taste buds, but also satiating for your body, it's an easy way to get in a ton of nutrients first thing. They're delicious, especially when you find your go-to formula or your go-to combination. And they're also, like I said, filling. And my smoothies hold me for anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, depending on the day. Every day is different. It's totally normal that our hunger changes from day to day and our satisfaction changes. Some days smoothies hold me longer than others, but on average, it's 3 to 5 hours. That's a good amount of time between meals or snacks. And that's what I need as a busy mom. I have preschool drop off. I have homeschool. I have podcast calls. I have Supermama Society calls. I have so many things going on within my week. I need to have a quick and easy solution. And especially for breakfast, this just takes one less thing that I have to, it's just one less thing that I have to think about, if that makes sense. If I know that most mornings I'm going to have a smoothie, or at least that a smoothie is an easy option on the table for me, that's going to be delicious, it's going to be filling, it's going to be easy, it's going to be quick. There are no excuses for not making a breakfast that makes me feel good in the morning when I have the ingredients on hand for a smoothie. And today, what I'm going to share with you is my formula for a smoothie that is satisfying. Remember that satisfaction is twofold, okay? It's sensory, so it's taste satisfaction, and also satiety. Satisfaction is not just drinking a smoothie that's going to be filling for you and choking it down. It's also drinking a smoothie that's going to be delicious and it's going to taste good. And both of these are going to contribute to its staying power and it being something that you also go to. And again, you don't have to drink a smoothie in order to be healthy. This doesn't have to be your breakfast. I just want this to be an option for you that can be delicious, that can be filling, and hopefully give you a few ideas for smoothies that I love. So if you do want to try a smoothie, especially a green smoothie, if you haven't tried that before, maybe you can go ahead and try it for yourself and have another breakfast option. So let's talk about what I call the super smoothie formula. So how to create a satisfying smoothie. There are 5 parts to my satisfying smoothie, but do not let the 5 ingredients deter you. They are very simple, and most of them are things that I use in basically every smoothie. So it's not like I have 25 different items on hand at all times to make these different smoothies that I'm going to share with you. I think I'm going to share with you 5 different smoothies that I love, kind of my 5 go-to smoothies, depending on the season, depending on what I'm feeling. And this is the formula that I use for each one, okay? Number 1 is liquid. Number 2 is fruit. Number 3 is veggies. Number 4 is protein. And number 5 is fat, okay? Let's dive into each one of those. Number 1, you need some sort of a liquid to blend. More often than not, for me, this is some sort of a nut milk or a coconut milk. My absolute favorite, all-time favorite, is the Califia Farms Toasted Coconut Almond Milk. It is so good. It has no added sugar, but it does have some monk fruit extract in it, so it's a little bit sweet. The toasted coconut almond flavor is just amazing. I can get it at BJ's, which is our bulk food store, kind of like a Costco. We don't have a Costco nearby. Actually, the nearest Costco is in Massachusetts, which is the next state over. So I get it from there, and I do love to make my own homemade nut milk, but when life got busy this year, for a while there, just stopped making my own nut milk because I'm like, it's just as easy and just as inexpensive to buy it at BJ's, and that is my favorite in terms of flavor. I love the texture. It's great. But you can use whatever sort of milk or nut milk you want to use. You could also use water. I do find the nut milk makes it creamier, so if you like a creamy smoothie, that's a great option. A really quick and easy way to make your own milk really quickly is to use a tablespoon of hemp seeds blended in a cup of water, instant hemp milk. Super easy. We'll make it creamier. It'll also add some omega-3 fats, so bonus there. Hemp seeds are also a really great source of plant-based protein. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds has almost 10 grams of protein. So fun fact for you there. It's a great way to also make yourself a quick and easy nut milk, or I guess seed milk, if you want to do that. You could also use something like a green tea if you wanted to. You obviously want to be doing that in the morning because otherwise it's going to keep you awake. You could do that. I love using a chai tea in my smoothie, especially in the wintertime when I'm making kind of more of a warming smoothie. So that's a great option. You could also use a little bit of coconut water. That's great for hydration, especially after a workout, especially in the warm summer months. You could use juice, but I don't honestly recommend it just from a blood sugar standpoint. Being someone who is always trying to, really be intentional about balancing my hormones and balancing my blood sugar, and recommending that to other people too, because it just helps us to feel more calm and peaceful around food when our blood sugar isn't spiking and dropping. And it also helps with our overall health and wellness. There's nothing wrong with having juice on occasion, but I would rather save my juice for like Sunday brunch or a cocktail, to be honest, than put it in my smoothie in the morning, because it is a lot of concentrated sugar. So totally up to you. But for blood sugar balance, I find that I prefer something like a nut milk or just water in a pinch. The second thing is some sort of a fruit. Now, I'm not going to give you any specific measurements for these. I should mention, though, with the liquid, I typically use 1 to 2 cups of liquid, depending on how thick I want my smoothie. If I want it thicker, I'll use closer to a cup of milk. And then if I want a smoothie bowl, I will just add a little bit of a splash to the bottom and then add more until it's my desired consistency. If I want it thinner, I use anywhere from a cup to a cup and a half. So I will give you a measurement for the liquid, but in terms of fruit, it's really kind of what tastes good and feels good for you. So for me, it's like a heaping handful of fruit. I don't use a ton of fruit, like I mentioned. I'm all about blood sugar balance. So this isn't a restrictive choice. This is I know what it means to balance blood sugar. And that means it's great to have fruit in your smoothie for the nutrients. But I also don't need 4 bananas. So somewhere in between no fruit and 4 bananas is where I end up, and you can find a place that feels good for you too. So fruit can be anything from, I love frozen fruit. You can use fresh fruit too. I love frozen berries. Frozen blueberries are kind of one of my go-tos. I love frozen bananas. They make it really creamy. I love frozen mango, frozen pineapple, frozen papaya. Papaya is a little bit less sweet, so I tend to like to pair it with something else sweet. You could do banana and acai as an acai bowl. Now, if you buy the unsweetened acai, it is very sour, but it's really high in antioxidants. That's a great option as well. You can do oranges. I find a high-speed blender is necessary if you're going to use an orange, because it does tend to have some of that, like the pith. I guess it's not the pith if it's not on the outside, but some of, this like stringy bits on the inside don't always blend very well in the smoothie, but it does lend for a delicious flavor in the smoothie. I love frozen cherries in a smoothie. Those are great too. Really, any fruit your heart desires. Start with a heaping handful and see what feels good for you. If you're noticing that you're getting really hungry soon after drinking your smoothie, then you might need to add some extra protein, some extra fat, or you might need to just reduce the fruit because it's not working for your blood sugar. So you want your smoothies to hold you longer than a couple of hours. That's just kind of a good rule of thumb. I love adding some sort of a vegetable to my smoothie. More often than not, this is a huge couple of handfuls of spinach, because you do not taste it and it blends in really well. And so I add a couple of big handfuls of spinach. I buy big boxes of spinach at either Whole Foods or BJ's, like I mentioned, the bulk food store. It's really inexpensive. You can even use frozen spinach as well, or frozen kale. If I have a bag of kale, I often buy it in bags, and it's starting to kind of get a little wilty, but not gross yet. I'll just stick it in the freezer and I'll throw that in my smoothies too. Great way to add some greens, but yes, the kale does taste more green than spinach. Spinach doesn't taste like anything, in my opinion. If you put a whole bag of spinach in, you'll taste that, but it'll still be mild compared to if you put in kale or something like that. But you can put whatever greens you would love in. I love putting in cauliflower rice. That makes it really creamy without any added extra fruit, like extra bananas. So I love doing a combination of banana and cauliflower, and that makes it creamy but also sweet without, again, ton of banana, which once again is not bad by any means. I don't ever want you to think that fruit is bad, or that eating bananas is bad, or that eating any sort of anything is bad. It's just about what works for you. So I always want to encourage you to find what works for you and what's satisfying for you. For you, 3 bananas might feel good, but just experiment. Find what feels good. Other vegetables I love. I love frozen zucchini. I tend to like to steam it before, just for gut health, but that's totally up to you. In the summertime, when there's an abundance of zucchini, I will steam a bunch of it on and put it out on a baking sheet and just pop it in the freezer. let it freeze, put it in a stasher bag, and leave it in the freezer. And I add that to my smoothies. And it just like cauliflower, it adds some creaminess to it, and you really don't taste it at all. And just add some extra nutrients in there as well. Cucumber is also a really delicious addition to smoothies, especially smoothies that you want to be a little bit like fresher and brighter. It goes really well with strawberries. Strawberry cucumber goes really well together. It goes really well with pineapple and mango. So cucumber is a great option in there as well. But you can experiment. You can throw broccoli in your smoothie if you want to. I haven't tried it, but you could try it. But I love adding some vegetables. The purpose of the vegetables is not just the nutrients, but also the fiber. Fiber helps to keep us full, and I find when a smoothie is a little bit thicker and a little bit more filled with fiber, it definitely does help to keep me fuller a little bit longer. And fiber is great for heart health too, so it's great to add some vegetables in there for nutrients and fiber. And then you need some sort of a protein. And yes, I do say need, because it's not going to be a balanced smoothie that's going to hold you for any length of time if there's no protein. Protein is the most satiating nutrient. You can get protein from a lot of different sources. You could get protein from a protein powder. Just to share with you a couple of my favorites, my go-to proteins are either a bone broth protein. I like the Thrive Market bone broth protein, and I also like the Ancient Nutrition bone broth protein. We actually had Dr. Josh Axe, who is one of the co-founders of Ancient Nutrition, on the podcast here. They don't sponsor me or anything. I just love their products. And I also love the TB12 protein, which, yes, is Tom Brady's supplement company, but it's the best plant-based protein in terms of flavor, and I find it works really well with my digestive system. It's a pea-based protein. Those are my favorites. Those are my go-tos. And so some sort of a protein powder is great. And then you could also add in Greek yogurt if you don't want to use a protein powder. There are a couple other, might seem a bit odd, but actually work really well as a protein in your smoothie options too. Like you could add cottage cheese. I know there's a bunch of you who are like, ew, but you know what? If you've got it on hand, try it in your smoothie. It really tastes like nothing when you add the rest of your ingredients in there as well. And you could also add silken tofu. I know, again, might seem a little bit weird, but it's a great way to add some protein. And lastly, hemp seeds, like I mentioned at the beginning, is a great way to add some protein. Now, if you're adding nut butter to your smoothie, your nut butter is your fat. It is not your protein. It's going to have a little bit of protein in it, but it's not going to be enough to keep you full. So unless you're adding like a cup of nut butter, which I don't know about you, but that wouldn't feel great in my stomach. That's a lot of nut butter. I'm all for the healthy fats, but that's a lot. I typically put like a large spoonful in mine, but again, it's whatever works for you, but it's not a ton of protein in there. So number 5, then let's lean into the fat now. You want some sort of a fat, okay? So the reason why this is so satisfying is, number 1, you're choosing ingredients you actually love and experimenting with different combinations and figuring out what your favorite combination is. Number 2, you've got this combination of fruit and vegetable for some fiber, you've got some protein in there, and then you've also got some fat. And fat is going to help with mouthfeel, which is really important for sensory satisfaction, and then it also helps their physical satisfaction as well. And so I love some sort of a nut butter or a seed butter, so almond butter, sunflower seed butter, coconut butter, peanut butter, but you could also add whole nuts in there if you've got like a Vitamix and you want to blend, and they will blend up well in there. And avocado is also a really great option. It'll make it really creamy as well. It's really delicious in smoothies, especially if you're using like a mango or a pineapple and it's kind of a tropical style smoothie. That's a really great option as well. And then you can also add extras. These are not part of the 5-part formula, but these are extras that you might want to add. Things like spices. I love adding cinnamon to most of my smoothies. I also love adding ginger to my smoothies, either fresh or ground ginger. Cinnamon helps with blood sugar balance, and ginger helps with gut health and immune health as well. So I love adding those to my smoothie as well. Adding a little bit of extra fiber, if there's not enough in the fruit and the vegetables to help to keep you full, can be really helpful too, especially if you could use some extra prebiotic fiber or fiber for your gut health. You could also add probiotics. There's a lot of powdered probiotics you could add to your smoothie as well. And then you can add fun extras like antioxidants like cacao, which will add a dark chocolate type flavor to it. You could also add some extra seeds like chia seeds or hemp seeds to it for a boost of omega-3s. There's so many things. Oh, spirulina or chlorella are great. It's a really high source of plant-based protein in spirulina. I'll put a couple drops of chlorophyll in sometimes, which is really high in magnesium. So there are so many options that you can add to your smoothie. It's a great way to get in some extra nutrients. I'll toss my vitamin D drops in there and some vitamin C powder. I know these things might seem kind of weird if you're new to smoothies. You don't have to put any of these in. I'm just throwing out a few things that I like to add to my smoothie to make it just a little bit more powerful. You know, if you can throw it all in a blender, why not? Why not get in the extra nutrients in a way that's easy and that's delicious? So as I mentioned, I love to call this my super smoothie formula for the Super Mama sisterhood. But I have a whole printable of how I make this smoothie and these ingredients that I mentioned to you guys that I'm going to attach to this week's episode guide. So be sure to click the link in the show notes, download this week's episode guide. Super easy to just put your name and your email in there and you'll get directly redirected to that episode guide. There's an episode guide for every Healthy Mama Hacks episode. So you guys can kind of follow along with the things I share within the episode and actually take action on the hacks that I'm giving you guys within these Healthy Mama Hacks episodes. And we are getting close to the 20-minute mark. So let's go real quick. And I'm going to share with you 5 of my go-to smoothie combinations, and then we'll hop off for this week. All right, my number one and my most go-to smoothie combination is blueberry vanilla. So I start with a nut milk. Like I mentioned, I love that Califia Farms toasted coconut almond milk. That's typically what I will use this one for. Frozen blueberries, spinach, vanilla protein powder, almond butter, and cinnamon. The second one is a creamy banana smoothie bowl. I will use frozen banana, usually a half to a full frozen banana, a big old handful of frozen cauliflower rice. Again, you can't taste this. It just makes it extra creamy. Spinach, vanilla protein, almond butter or peanut butter, and cinnamon. Chocolate cherry is one of my favorites. I get on chocolate cherry kicks and it is all I want to drink. Some sort of I forgot to mention the creamy banana smoothie bowl also has some sort of a nut milk in it. Don't just put those things in without a nut milk. It won't work. Or a milk of some sort of a liquid. Put a liquid in. Chocolate cherry, some sort of a nut milk. My favorite is coconut milk, especially canned coconut milk. So good in this smoothie. Frozen cherries, spinach, vanilla or chocolate protein. Now, if I use vanilla protein, I add extra cacao, but I use cacao powder or cocoa powder, whatever I've got on hand. Cacao is just the raw cocoa powder, so it's a little bit higher in antioxidants and a little bit more of like a dark chocolate feel. A pinch of sea salt and some almond butter. Then there's my PB&J smoothie. If you're a fan of PB&J sandwiches, you'll love this one. There's some nut milk in there. I use a frozen, my daughter just came out of the room and stared at me. She's like, why are you talking into your microphone about smoothies? She likes smoothies sometimes. She's not a huge smoothie fan. Okay. Distractions, you guys. Real life, mom life. PB&J, nut milk, frozen berry blend or frozen blueberries, spinach, vanilla protein, and peanut butter. And then the mango mojito when I want something, especially in the summertime, that's really refreshing and delicious and almost tastes like a cocktail at 8 in the morning. So good. Coconut milk or coconut water is my base for this smoothie pretty much always. Frozen mango, spinach, coconut or almond butter, but coconut butter, if I've got it, is my preferred, and a few mint leaves make this like a mojito. Oh my gosh, and a squeeze of lime. You have to have a squeeze of lime for it to be a mojito, of course. So those are some of my go-to smoothies. That is my satisfying smoothie formula. It is easy and quick, a great way to get in a ton of nutrients first thing, delicious, blood sugar balancing and filling and just satisfying in every sense of the word. And, like I've mentioned about 5 bazillion times in this episode, I don't think you have to drink a smoothie in order to be a healthy, balanced mama, but it's a great option. And so I hope this inspired you to try a smoothie out this week, whether it's for breakfast, for lunch, for a snack. I love my smoothies, and I hope you will too. So please go ahead and join me over on Instagram at Healthy Mama Chris. Share with me if this was helpful. I would love for you to screenshot the episode. Let me know what smoothie you're going to try first. Oh my gosh, if you make a smoothie, please take a picture of it and tag me in it. I want to see your smoothies. I want to see which ones are your favorite. I want you to tell me how much more filling these smoothies are when you use the smoothie formula. And I want you to join me over in the Healthy Balanced Mamas Facebook community. It's a great way to connect with other mamas who are also wanting to just find more balance in their life as healthy, balanced mamas. So I hope you'll join me over there. It's just facebook.com/group/healthy balanced mamas. We do our Friday coffee chats and we just connect over there. So the link is in the show notes for all the things I mentioned. Don't forget to download the episode guide with the smoothie guide. You can print that out. You can put it on your fridge. You can have that so you can start creating your own favorite smoothie combos. And if you have a favorite combo that I need to know about, please also let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram. Tag me in a picture of it. I always want new smoothie blends, so please let me know your favorites as well. Thank you so much for joining me for another Healthy Mama Hacks episode. Thank you for letting me go over in time a little bit because you know how much I love smoothies, and it's really hard for me to talk for only 20 minutes on smoothies, so it is what it is. Here we are. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Healthy Balanced Mama podcast. If you loved it, would you take a screenshot and share it with a friend over on Instagram and tag me in it? It helps me so much to know what you love and are taking away from each episode. If you really loved it, would you hop over to iTunes and give me a star rating and review? Every rating and review helps this podcast be seen and heard by more women who need to hear the message of balance and wellness without deprivation. It's the best free gift you could give me. And as a reminder, the information and opinions on this podcast are meant for education and inspiration only and are not to be taken as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult with a trusted practitioner before making any changes. Have a beautiful day, friend, and I'll see you in the next episode.